everybody, welcome to Speech Bubble. I've got an amazing guest today. He writes cartoons for a living. Is that correct, Ray?
Weird job, but I do it.
Yeah. Ray DeLaurentis is here. And Ray, I want to have you write something for Jace, my sidekick. I want you to write a scenario for Jace.
I'm ready.
Jace, right? And whatever you write, Jace has to do. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever you write, because you're an animation writer.
Okay.
So let's say just start off with Jace enters the room or something. Go ahead, Ray. It's up to you.
Okay. Jace enters the room, but it's not the room he hoped it was.
Ooh.
Okay. It's a woman's wardrobe.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Right.
Okay. So he's a spy, of course.
Of course
And
he
the
is.
enemy spies are coming, and of course they're Russian.
So
we know
what does Jace do? He's in a woman's wardrobe and spies are coming.
he has to change because he can't be Jace. They know what he looks like.
They can't catch
Okay,
him.
they know what he looks
Right.
like. Okay. So
I was here
Jace.
before, but okay, keep going.
Jace has to put on a ball gown. Okay, but he looks great in it.
Oh, no.
Jace, put on the ball gown.
Wait, why is there one here?
Okay.
It's a woman's
plan this.
wardrobe. Okay, so what happens is he's about to run away, but
Right.
in the ball gown, but he stops and he can't help but admire himself in the mirror because he has to say, he says, you know what? I look pretty good in this ball gown.
And roll the theme music.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it's not over.
Oh, is that
it's
over?
not over.
Sorry.
No, so but the spies recognize him, okay, because of his thick black mustache. So he runs outside. There's a children's party. He takes 1,000 helium balloons,
Right.
ties them to a lawn chair,
Right.
okay, and flies into
That
the
takes
air.
a long time to
Yeah.
do that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. He's quick.
Oh,
Okay.
He's
Good,
quick.
good.
Okay.
We are
And,
going to roll the theme music now. So roll
and
the
that's
theme
it. That's
music.
the end. He flies into the sun and dies.
All right, we're back from the theme music. Welcome to Speech Bubble. That was the amazing Ray DeLaurentis. Give him a round of applause. We have applause
Right.
playing right now.
With a huge
Applause.
audience,
Yeah,
of course.
we have a huge sound effects.
I like it.
It's amazing. So Ray is
Sophisticated.
here. And did you like the scenario that Ray just wrote for you?
The beginning was great.
Wasn't it great?
They
The
got
opening-
uncomfortable, didn't they?
I think the ball gown
Yes.
thing was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I
well,
thought it was
that's
really
your
funny.
opinion.
Because I could picture the whole thing in my head.
I mean, you think of it as
Wait,
you think of it as
that's not a good
innovative.
thing. If you could picture me in the...
Oh, easily.
So-
I can easily picture
I
you.
tried not to.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't just the ball gown. He was in a ball gown in a lawn chair
Yeah.
with helium balloons.
And a mustache.
And a giant
The
mustache.
story could have gone for days.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
really.
That's a cartoon right there.
What I
That's a
love
show.
is that while he's tying 1,000,000 balloons onto the lawn chair, the spies don't catch
It's a
it.
funny movie. They bumble around. They bump heads. Yeah.
There's a kid's party going on. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Well, everyone,
chaos.
the great Ray DeLaurentis is here. Hi, Ray.
Hello.
How's it going? Good to have you
It's
here.
going pretty well.
You're in the speech bubble.
Better when I was working with you.
I know.
But still pretty good.
I understand.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you're in the same chair Jerry Trainer said.
Oh,
Jerry
yes.
Trainer's been on the show.
Did you disinfect it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
Oh gosh, did we just?
I don't know if it was that sure. Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
you know
We
what?
did.
Note to self: disinfect all chairs.
Yeah.
Jerry
Okay.
Trainer has a distinction of being the only person I know louder than me.
I don't. You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Ray is setting back from the microphone a little
Yeah.
because you are pretty loud.
I
When
understand
we were
that.
here
I'm
with
glad you're
Jerry, a notification popped up on GarageBand that was like, it's too loud, and it stopped recording because he was so loud.
Are you
so
serious?
It might happen again.
Did
Yeah.
that really happen?
Yeah, it stopped recording. Yeah. It was just too loud. I couldn't. The
Jerry
microphones
Trainer
couldn't handle it.
Was too loud.
Yes.
Hey, well, Ray, you're the second loudest guy we've had in here,
Yes.
then, which is exciting.
Or
for
first,
me.
maybe you could beat him.
I can be loud.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
kinda
good.
loud, though, too. I can be loud.
Yeah.
I can be loud.
You can control your voice, though. I can't.
Yeah, I have. You know what I have? Because I have manners.
You do.
I have manners.
I was raised with manners, and I shook them off.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So Ray, let's tell the audience a little bit about who you are. And Ray, actually, why don't you tell us who you are? Ray, who are you? What do you do? And what's your favorite food? No, I'm kidding.
How far back do you want to go?
No. How did you and I meet? And why are you here on Speech Bubble today?
I had been a writer doing a million different things for years. I started out writing hour television when I was a kid. You know, I wrote like hospital dramas. I did every form of
What
everything.
show was that? You worked on.
I worked on St. Elsewhere when I was 21.
Oh,
St.
okay,
Elsewhere.
cool.
Look at
Wow.
that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so I did everything, right?
Big stars on that show.
Big stars.
Howie Mandel.
I actually,
Denzel Washington.
okay. See, this is where I've learned to edit myself.
There you go.
I didn't tell you my
Oh, no,
Denzel.
you can say names. We could say
No,
names.
everyone was great on that show.
Yeah. There you, it was great. There you go.
There, everyone was great on that show. It was a fun show.
Right.
I worked for a crazy man named Bruce Paltrow,
Okay.
who made people cry.
Okay.
And I loved him.
Okay.
He made me laugh,
Great.
even when he tried to make
Now
me
that's
laugh.
the father of
Gwyneth.
Paltrow.
Oh.
And
Okay.
once again, a story I can't tell. But Gwyneth is great.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Right, great. Okay.
Yeah, Gwyneth is great. No, it was a very fun job. It was an interesting job because I was a kid and I really had no idea what I was doing beyond instincts.
How'd you get the job in the first place?
Well, I met Bruce in New York, and I was a
Okay.
gopher on a movie he made, a PA. And he said, "I like you, Raymond. You come out to Los Angeles and work on my show."
Wow,
So I did.
it's amazing.
So then
Wow.
I said to Bruce, quick story. I said, how can I write an episode of your show or try to? And he said, go home tonight with these 2 scenes, write them down, come back tomorrow, give them to me, and see me at lunch. So
he talked like an anime character from Speed
he
Racer.
did. He did.
Okay, yeah,
He did. It was a Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z. But huge. He was like 6'6".
Yeah.
And so he would make delivery boys cry. You know,
He would.
So I gave him the scenes. I went to his office.
Delivery boys would cry.
He would yell at them.
Why would they cry?
He would yell at them.
He would yell at them.
Yell at them
Oh, my
for
God.
parking in his space.
Oh,
But he was cool. So I went to.
He sounds awesome.
He was kind of cool. So I went to his office at lunch, and in his office, right, and you'll like the story.
Okay.
It was him a mile away in this massive office because he made like $70,000 a week.
Why will I like this story?
Because on the floor next to him was Lassie's stand-in, a stuffed dog named Stay. So I'm looking down the office at this guy, this towering guy who's glaring at me with a dead dog by him. And he says, this scene, Raymond, I read it. It is perhaps the single worst scene I have ever read. And he threw it over my head into the hallway. And I started to laugh. And I said, well, thank you for taking the time to read it. And he said, okay, you passed the test. You're tough enough to do this. Apparently the scene wasn't that bad. And the other scene you relived, but I tell that story because you're trying to inspire young people.
Yeah, we are.
And
we try and do that.
the important thing I think.
We also try to inspire people who stuff dead dogs. We want to inspire
Why not? The dog was dead already.
There you go.
Okay, no one killed the dog to stuff it.
I understand. Got it.
So
The dog was dead
so
already.
it's like you just basically you know what you want to do. You don't let people discourage you.
There you go.
Which is the lesson.
And you were 21, and a guy said this is the worst scene ever. Now you have two choices.
Perhaps the worst scene. I remember every word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could either stand there and take offense at that and say I'm never writing again and go back to wherever you're from. Or
Yeah,
you could,
that's
or
right.
just cry.
Or just cry
like the other people.
I saw him make two people cry.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the bog on? Is it comfortable?
I'm not wearing it now, Butch. Just for the audio
You look great
listeners.
in it.
I'm
It
not
looked
wearing
great on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So you work on
So
something else.
I did that. Then I did a million things. Like I won't even go through all the variations.
It was like two things.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
I
for
work for every company there is, basically. I did
McDonald's?
everything.
You work for McDonald's?
I did when I was a kid,
Oh,
but,
yeah?
but I was fired because the manager's daughter hit on me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was much older, and she pulled me into the freezer to kiss me. It's a true story. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't say things like that.
It's too late.
It's
All
true
right,
now.
it's fine.
So the truth of it is
And
that
here she is. We brought her in. She's here today. Here, come on in, Sally. What's her name?
I think she's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Oh,
Yeah. So she was much older. So I did everything there was to do. I did like animated like video game characters into animated pilots, books into movies, everything. And then I wrote a kids and family thing. I wrote a live action pilot called Life on Earth, and I really loved writing it. Like I had a lot of fun writing it. And for me, it's like enjoy your job. You have to enjoy what you're doing because you're going to spend a lot of time. So I liked doing it more. And so I started trying to do it, but there was no real business then. I did a couple of live action things for Nick.
When you say business, you mean
There was no
animation
real
business.
kids business.
Okay.
The kids business at the time was commercials
Back
for
in the 1930s, right?
yeah,
Way
back in the late 1800s.
1931.
Yeah, when your dentist
The
was
Mets just
still
won.
your barber. Yeah. So
The Yankees won the pennant that year.
That's right. So I did a bunch of different things, and as the kids business opened up, I tried to do more and more things. When my son was born, I decided I didn't want to leave him with the other dads who were coaches.
I met your son. He's a tall, redheaded kid.
He looks nothing like me.
An amazing bass player.
Sweet kid and an amazing classical musician.
Yes, he is.
So at any rate,
His name is Nick.
Nick
I've met him.
DeLaurentis.
Nickelodeon.
That's his name.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Segue.
And so
Thanks for having me, Jace.
I look for any opportunity to do it, but the problem with the kids and family business, including animation, is most of the stuff is terrible.
No.
Most of it is.
No,
and
it's
so
not.
I love the Fairly Oddparents, and when I heard there was an opening on the show, it was like a dream come true for me because it was my favorite animated show.
And let me jump in here. If I
Yeah,
can jump in.
and so I met
remember
Butch.
the day you came in because I had gone through two other story editors at the time. Two guys who were on the show and left for various reasons. And then it was funny because I had to look for a new story editor, and I was like, I hate looking for writers only because you got to read a bunch of scripts, which is fine doing that, but it takes a while, and the script reading process isn't always indicative of how good the writer is because you don't know if the person actually wrote the script themselves. If it's a team of people too, it's like, wow, who wrote what? And then you got to call them in and meet them. Then you actually have to start working with people to see if they're any good. So I remember they brought in this big pile of scripts going, here's a bunch of scripts, find a story editor. I went, great. Yours was the one on the top, yours was the top script. And I grabbed it, and it was about a chimp named Mr. What was his name?
It was his name was the chimp, I forget the chimp's name. The caveman was named Uh-Oh. I remember. Oh no!
But there was a chimp.
There was a chimp.
I remember it was like
As a genius chimp scientist.
His name was Mr. Something.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah.
And the first sentence, it was like the first paragraph was, Mr. So-and-so does this, he does this, he does this, he does this. By the way, Mr. So-and-so is a chimp. And I went, oh, that made me laugh. And I went, okay, this guy's funny. I'll call him in. I'll go on to the next script tomorrow. I was going to actually, and so I called you in, and I met a couple guys before you, and then you came in, you were early. You were like 20 minutes early.
I'm always early.
Yeah. And as we've already learned, you're very energetic, which was shocking.
I can't stop it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you came in and you were great. It was a great meeting, and we'll try this guy out. And then we hired you, and you were the last story editor on Fairly Oddparents.
Yep.
You worked on Tough Puppy.
Yep.
And Bunsen is a Beast.
Yep.
We had a great time.
And a bunch of pilots we did together
We did a
too.
ton of pilots. We're gonna talk about those in a sec. But you came in and you just nailed the meeting. It was really fun. And I called Rich Magianis in to meet you, our good friend Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And Rich was like, I think he's great. And I said, I think he is too. Let's give him a try. And then you came in. That was my Rich impression, by the way.
It was a great Rich impression.
Thanks
yeah.
very much. Thank you. And then it was just great. And we started working together. And we really hit it off because you were one of the few writers I could actually work with that I didn't have to do your job for you.
Yeah.
I remember, and this is not to slam anybody at all, but a lot of writers, on Fairly Oddparents at least, I'd have to rewrite a lot of their stuff all the time. And I had to be in the writing room all day long with them because a lot of people who say they're quote-unquote writers, we had some really talented people.
Yeah.
They don't really, it's very hard to find that person that can see the story,
Yeah.
write it down, have a clear vision all the way through, and make it funny.
Yeah.
And the trick on Fairly Oddparents was, I think you said it, it's a comedy pit that you throw jokes into.
It really is.
Yeah, keep going.
Fairly Oddparents is an interesting show because normally what I do when I write a show is I break down characters, right?
I thought you break down, like you cry.
No, I really don't. No, I'm not a big crier.
No crying, as we
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
No, I find it takes up too much time in the day.
It actually takes up a lot of time.
It's not worth it. You got to move on.
Yeah.
I grew up in New Jersey. Okay, I rode for a crew team that had no dock, and on the wall of the crew team on the building it said "Excuses are for the weak."
There you go.
So
There you go.
that's where I came from.
I have that tattooed on Jace's chest.
It works.
Wait, you do?
Well, when you were sleeping.
Wow.
When
Okay.
you were sleeping.
It's a little anti-millennial, but it's all right. So at any rate, so it's interesting. And I broke down the characters and I said, it's interesting here because these characters are attitudes with nuanced levels that really cater only and totally to the humor, which was really interesting, I'd never really seen a show like that. And then I realized to make an episode of that show great, it was a bottomless pit to throw funny ideas in.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times writers try to write things and they're too clean. It's like they don't stray from the line to have fun. Mm-hmm. And the spontaneity, those fun little digressions and the kooky things that happen in stories are what people remember. They're the things that are alive. They're not the kind of stuck in your head writer stuff.
Right.
And that show gave you the greatest ability to do that of any show ever. And then when I started working with Butch, I actually had the first writing revelation I had in 8-10 years, which was we're doing an episode which is a camping episode.
Right.
And Butch totally broke the tone of the show. He said, no, Mom's on, the girls were on a camping trip that was going amazingly well, like ridiculously well, and the guys were in hell. Okay, they're being chased by a bear, being stung by bees, poison ivy. And Butch said, I like to do it like where Mom's there, and like birds are flying around and doing her hair like in a Disney movie. I said, but that doesn't make any sense with the tone. He said, but it's funny. And I said, oh, yeah. My own rule expanded upon. So it was really interesting for me. And I said this when we had your dinner at Nickelodeon. It opened up my brain, and that show really allowed you to break tone. And as long as you could cover it with a joke. So it became, honestly, the most fun job I've ever had. Yeah. I would have done that show for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we had a great time. And you did that. We got there. I'll never forget when you got there because the first week you started, the first Iron Man came out.
Yeah, and we went to Iron Man.
And you're like, hey, I'm ready for work. I went, no, we're going to go see Iron Man. Yeah. So we went to go see Iron Man.
And I came in and I pitched Foop as a character.
Yeah, Foop.
I pitched Foop.
Okay.
My daughter and I had come up with Foop, and you added to Foop, and then we did Poof versus Foop as the first thing we ever did.
So funny. And
and that became a huge character in the later seasons, too.
Foop is great.
Well, Eric Bowles is a funny guy, too.
Oh, Eric Bowles. I got to get him in here, as a matter of fact. I think he is in here. He's very tiny.
He's tiny.
He might be in
He's cute. He's cuddly.
He's a super cuddly guy. But but Foop was, and then we added the little twist on Foop that he was cheap. You'll receive no gratuity, my good man.
Well, that was the great thing about the show. It's like, what does that have to do with the baby? It's funny. That's what it has to do with the baby.
Remember the one we wrote? It was a love triangle where Foop is a square,
Mr.
Poop
Cookie,
is a circle, and then they fall in love with a girl who's a triangle, and it was Goldie Golden Glow, and then Foop wanted to be in the school play, but Poof got the lead. Poof's audition was Poof. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Everything he did was perfect.
My favorite thing from that episode is
hated him.
Foot becomes table number 3. So they put a tablecloth over him,
Yeah.
and he just stays silent.
Well, and the end of his audition for a
Yeah.
children's play called like A
Oh,
Happy Day
yeah,
with
yeah.
Mr. Cookie
Yeah.
ended with, and you will all bow down to me, but from beneath my tower of bones. It was like, you could not put that on TV now.
It
Oh,
was,
yeah,
it
no.
was the end of days.
It was the end of that's the way.
I'm taking the liberty of rewriting some of the scenes.
Yeah.
It was the end of days.
He rewrote the play so that Poof would be killed,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
A baby.
A baby.
Yeah, he'd be killed.
Yeah.
But see, this is the great part about working with Ray and the writers of Fairly Oddparents was that we would just laugh all day long.
Yeah.
And my wife would get so mad at me, I'd come home just being in the greatest mood. She's
Yep.
like, what are you so happy about? I'm like, we were laughing all day.
Well, I said that at
Together.
every time we had any kind of a dinner. I said my job, working with you at Nickelodeon at least, the rest of it maybe not quite as funny, was I got paid to laugh all day.
Yeah.
No, we did.
Yeah.
So
And
how does the writer's room work? Like, how does it start an episode?
yeah,
And then get to the writer's room?
since Ray is here,
Yeah, I
and
wanna
he's our
know,
special
yeah.
guest, I'll have Ray tell you how.
Yeah.
Well,
How did it work for us?
Oh, it worked for us this way. Like either Butch or I would come up with an idea in almost every case. I think we pretty much had every story on it.
You were really coming up with a ton of them, though. I mean, you really.
I came up-
but I was working on the show for like 7 years before you got there, so I was like, cool, another guy to think of ideas.
Oh,
about.
Yeah, well, that's hard. It's a
Yeah.
burnout job to do that by yourself. But I love the show and I love what I do. So I would have a fun idea.
I didn't think of every idea in those 7 years. I'm saying after 7 years, it's like, I'm glad Ray showed up because
Yeah, I mean-
an idea guy.
So I'd come up with an idea, let's say, and I would say like this. I'll give you an example. The show Add a Dad we did.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
came
yeah.
up and I said, what if Dad, because we were all going through this, is so everywhere. He has to do so many things that he can't spend enough time with Timmy. Right. And so I said, and Timmy wishes for extra dads and they keep multiplying. I went in a room with Butch, who is like a muse to me. And in about, I'm going to say less than a minute, we had the entire episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
The entire
Like the
thing.
outline of it, or
All you had to do was write it down.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It was
wow.
like, it was all there. So I went and then I had brought in some other very funny people. Will Schifrin, my partner,
Yep.
most of the time being one of them. He's a very funny joke
Now, are
writer.
you Batman or is he Batman? Who's Robin in that?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
Are you both Batman?
I think I'm more Batman.
And he's kind of who is he in the Batman universe?
I think he's the supercomputer. He has some information
Dude,
sometimes
yeah.
I don't
He
have.
does have information.
He knows how to spell,
Yeah,
which
he
helps.
knows how to-
He's a funny guy.
Human
And
autocorrect.
Will's dad, Will Schifrin's father.
Oh, yeah.
Another
is
story we can't
Lalo
tell.
Schifrin, who wrote Mission Impossible.
Wrote the theme to Mission
song.
Impossible. So
Unbelievable
he's
guy.
been a partner of mine over the years. Will is an amazing guy because Will can literally pick a joke out of nothing.
No, Will is amazing.
He's a funny guy.
We had the great Kevin Sullivan as well.
Yeah, he's a funny guy and a super
Super
clever
funny.
guy.
Super funny.
The great Kevin Sullivan story was I said, okay, Timmy's on a soccer team. They need to be. I'm going to forget the punchline. They need to be a terrible team. I said, what's the name of the team? Kevin said, the Victims. There's no beat. They're the victims. He looks back down.
Like
So
nothing even
that was it. So
I think it was very close to Kevin's life.
it was.
Kevin
He
is
was a
very-
professional victim, but a wonderful guy.
Kevin is a
So
wonderful
we have an idea, right? And then I would go by myself and I would beat out everything of the idea. And then I would say, okay, what's every possible joke for this joke pit? And I would just brainstorm and have a super good time. I wouldn't even think about the story because the structure was already there and the main idea was already there. And I'd throw everything into it. Then I'd bring people in, we'd throw stuff into it, and we'd talk to Butch. And we'd all have a meeting where we toss every funny idea we had, 90% of which we could not use. But a lot of which, Butch always had one idea at least that took the whole story and made it like 1,000 times better. And we would do that.
I'm not
and
even paying him to say that.
well, I told you I don't lie. So anyway, but everyone had great ideas, and so then we would write it, and then because I had been schooled in how to do something right the first time, and I think a lot of time people just go and they do their job as story editors. They do the least they can do. They take their money. They get a check every week. I had learned that if you do something great the first time, like if the first draft is great, you're golden. If you have to throw out the first draft, which you have the most time to work on, you're kind of done.
When you first got there, I had been doing it where I gave every writer a script to write. They would always write their own scripts, but then we would rewrite them all. I'd sit down and we'd go, and then we'd have a team meeting. We'd all rewrite everything. And then we started coming up with, look, let's just have all you guys write
Yep.
the first draft.
Yep.
It's just better that way.
Yeah, well, we were behind because of that. And the thing is, what you can do is, because, what you can do is this. You can give any writer a script to write, but it has to be kind of bulletproof by the time you give it to them. Everybody has to wade in. That writer has to feel comfortable. They have to have their own input that they feel like, well, I can sell this idea.
Yeah.
I can write this turn.
Yeah.
This is the joke I like. And then what you want to do is you give them everything they like. You just make sure it works.
Yeah.
And if they're stubborn about something that doesn't work, and we had that a few times, you have to say you can't do that. Because what eventually happened with Butch knows, I know, eventually we got a group of writers who were also craft skilled. In other words, they had worked on so many things that they understood craft so well that no one ever pitched anything that didn't work.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's like, because it's a craft. It really is. It's like building, I said it's like building a mobile. Yeah. It's like every piece has to balance. And the great example is, the most enduring duo in television history, who is Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock. They went away from them for 9 years and went back to them in the Star Trek series because of this. They have the most emotional, passionate man in the universe. The mobile goes down. Then they have the most logical, cold-blooded, in a way, man in the universe, and they balance out. So everything in a story, everything in a show has to balance itself out.
See, it all comes back to Star Trek. I always say that.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
We had Vic Mignogna in here who does Star Trek Continues. He's a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
But he's exactly right. And I love the word craft because a lot of people don't understand. They go, I want to be a writer. Great. It's a ton of work. And I hope you do want to do the work because we really need good writers out there.
Yep.
But it is a craft. And like you said, people had worked on stuff. We had people that worked on sitcoms for years and worked on movies for years. It's structuring those things writing a movie is way different than writing an 11-minute.
It couldn't be less similar.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've done really every form.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I really think one of the things that has helped me a lot is that I really...
Was the medicine a big help?
I haven't gotten medicine yet. They said I don't qualify.
Okay.
They said you're not legitimately depressed. Okay, you're oppressed briefly.
We can get you some medicine, I'm just saying.
I'll take medicine.
Okay, there you go.
So I'll check it out at least for a day. But the thing is that you have to be... You can't be full of yourself. It's not about you. It's never about you. It's not about whether you like it. It's not about whether you're okay with it. It's about the project. It's about the script. It's about the character. And you have to give yourself completely to that. You cannot superimpose what you want on what works best. So you have to be willing to throw anything out for the thing itself.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're working on a show that's already been established for a while, you got to write that show. It's great if you bring your own thing to it.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can't go, I want to make this into a... No.
You can find ways to make... like when I came into Fairly Oddparents, which was pretty much a perfect show for kids, I think. It's a literal and figurative wish fulfillment fantasy. It couldn't be better. But when you come in, I thought, okay, what hasn't been done? Who are the characters that haven't been put together? Who are the money characters that you could do new things? And I started throwing Crocker and Dad together in episodes because they're cripplingly funny.
Yeah.
Right? And then I did, Dad finds Cosmo stuffed in a lamp and he thinks he's a genie. And it's like, well, that's a genie, and all the jokes they made us throw out. He's somewhere between a witch and a genie. You're a weenie. Couldn't do it.
Did we do one where Crocker and Dad decided to take out each other's enemies? Crocker would take out Dinkelberg.
It was from the Hitchcock movie Strangers on a Train.
Yeah. If Dad would take out Crocker's mom.
Yeah, that's right. And they were on the kids' train at the mall when they met. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Crocker becomes best friends with Dinkelberg.
He loves Dinkelberg. Dinkelberg breaks him down because he's so kind. So Dinkelberg's kindness actually melts Crocker's shell, and he tries to save himself in the end and blows himself up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Were there any stories that the network wouldn't let you do?
No, they were great.
Oh, okay, cool.
They
were great. I mean, look, the Nickelodeon was smart in a lot of ways, okay? And one of the ways they were smart was, in the same way I think Butch is really completely unique as a creator. When something worked, they let it go. Like other people, Will and I and other people that have worked with you still talk about this. Butch would have something and it would be great. And if you had a totally different idea and he thought it was better, he'd go, just do that. Never, no ego. And once again, it's giving to the process. It's just saying what's best.
Yeah.
And still not paying him to say this.
Wow.
And no medicine.
Not yet.
Not yet. Exactly.
Not yet.
Right, exactly.
But you have in the past. So.
And then we were working on Fairly Oddparents, and when you showed up, I was developing a show called Tough Puppy,
which I loved.
Remember that show? That little show we did, and then we were doing Fairly Oddparents and Tough Puppy at the same time.
Which was the best.
Oh, it was the greatest.
And you were doing both shows too?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the executive producer on both shows, and I was the producer and story editor on both shows.
And what I love, my favorite part of the process, besides the writing, was the recording sessions were so great. And that was kind of a reward. Like, you'd write a script all for 2 weeks, work your tail off on it, and then go in and hear the actors deliver it.
You
and
come out of
make it even better.
You come out of a Tough Puppy recording session, and literally your gut would hurt from laughing.
Hysterical. And that's why I wish it would have gone on longer, because it went on for 4 years, which was actually longer than 4 years, 4 or 5 years. But the recording sessions were so great, and with Jerry and Ray DeLaurentis and Darren Norris and the great Jeff Bennett in there as Keswick. I mean, and they would add to it and make it even better.
Well, Tough Puppy, in my experience, is the only hit that was ever canceled.
Yeah.
In my experience, that was a shocking thing about Tough Puppy. The last week Tough Puppy was on the air, it got a 7-1 with older boys.
7-1 rating.
7-1, which is now it translates to your God.
Yeah.
You know,
if you got a 7-1 these days,
there are shows on the CW that get a 1-1.
Wow.
Yeah, it got a 7-1 with older boys, and you know, who knows why? It's the whims of a network, where they were at. You know, who knows why? It certainly, I never understood it, but that show was to me, Fairly Oddparents is the best cartoon ever. SpongeBob may be the most complete in certain ways, in a very kid-like way, and Tough Puppy was the single funniest.
Yeah, I think it really was. I agree. I think it was one of the funniest cartoons.
I read the scripts occasionally now, and I'm crippled by
They're
them.
super funny.
I mean,
I have some of my iPhones. I have some of the soundtracks in my iPhone, and I'll be playing music in my car, and a soundtrack for Tough Puppy will come on, and I'll just listen to it because it's so funny.
I heard them in Spanish, and they were funny.
Yeah.
What made Tough Puppy funnier than like Fairly Oddparents, for example? Like, what about that show?
Well, Fairly Oddparents.
No, it was Fairly Oddparents is as funny in a way.
Sure, okay.
But Tough Puppy was what I mean to say is Tough Puppy was pure humor.
Sure, okay.
That's what it was.
Got it.
We would just do runs on Tough Puppy. It had nothing to do with the story at all. Like the Bird Brain henchman stuff.
As Butch used to say, everyone is 5.
Everyone is 5. Yeah. Everyone's 5, and everyone's a moron. Everyone's a moron.
Everyone.
Yeah, I think Kitty was the only one who wasn't. And then
she was an eye roller.
Kitty became a moron as it went. Dear Kitty, I switched Brian's with you. Signed Dudley.
What does this mean? Oh, brains. Yeah.
Oh, brains.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then so we worked on Tough Puppy, and then we worked on a bunch of pilots together.
Yep, that was fun.
Do you want to talk about one of the pilots we worked on? We worked on.
Well, I mean, the pilots were fun. We did a pilot, which was Butch's idea, called Night and Dave. We did at one point, which was about a kid. It was a poor kid who basically, it's an Excalibur story where he pulls a sword from a stone.
It was a spork from the stone.
It was a spork, right? And he inherits a kingdom, and there is a evil loser knight, who's the knight, and the kid's Dave, who wants to off him. And he has
his name was Smackover.
Lord Smackover, which in Dutch means to smack again.
Yeah.
And and so
that was a killer pilot.
Killer pilot.
It was killer.
And he has a wizard who hates him. And what was the wizard's
Disappeario?
Oh yes, Lord Disapperio, the wizard, who was hated him and would torture him. And
but I think his mom hired him to be nice to him. Or something.
That's right, his mom.
And he had to work with the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a troll, Dave the troll.
And it
wasn't Dave. Dave was the kid, but it was like something like Bruce the troll.
Bruce the troll.
I am Bruce the troll.
And we had Thomas Middleditch, who later went on to be one of the guys on Silicon Valley. He was one of the people who read it.
Middleditch came in to do the voice of Dave.
That's right, originally.
And he was hysterical.
He was very funny.
And we're like, I hope this gets. And then the pilot never got picked up.
Then he got 900. Then he got 900 jobs, and now he's the Verizon rep.
Yeah, we would never get Middleditch now.
No.
But the fact his name was Middleditch was so funny.
Well, it was such a medieval name, you had to choose it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thomas Middleditch of the Middleditch clan.
Kingstonbury.
Yeah.
So how far did that get developed then in the process?
We did 800 drafts of the pilot.
About 800 drafts.
Yeah, 800 drafts, and then we went to record, and it was a funny record, and then we wrote a couple extra scripts because Butch had a lot of clout, and he got them to let us write some scripts, and the scripts, as usual, were even much funnier than the pilot because you're not trying to do the exposition of set up a show. So they were really funny.
Yeah.
And
it would have been a killer show.
We did the one where Dave had too many jobs because he was king now. So they made a robot Dave that was terrible.
Yeah.
It was a terrible, destructive idiot robot.
No, but Smackover, it was disguised himself and was like a robot salesman. Like, hey, this will be perfect. And it was all an evil plan to make Dave look bad.
But it was a very funny show.
Super funny. Night and Dave would have been great.
And then Bunsen was a great show. Bunsen was the Swedish show. I think we did it
And
neck
Bunsen
together.
also
definitely.
hysterically funny.
Yeah.
Really, really funny,
Super
but
funny.
super sweet. I mean,
One of my favorites was the relationship between Mikey and Bunsen.
Yeah, Bunsen was a show about friendship, and Bunsen was also a show about, I think, something people really need to get into now with all the Facebook rants, where you make a rant and you hate everyone else, and then if you even try to agree with the person, they hate you
Yes.
because it's not a discussion; it's just an angry rant.
Yeah.
Bunsen was a show about accepting people.
And they wouldn't, you said they wouldn't criticize each other.
No, they wouldn't criticize each other, even if they were accidentally killing the other person. But you may have sunk the ship we're on, but that was a really good try.
Really good try.
It was a really good try.
You look great. Mike,
You look great
Even
doing
though we're
that.
sinking, you look fantastic. Thanks, buddy. So do you.
And they were just sweet together. And we had a couple of, once again, Butch just cast consistently the best voice talent. And anybody who's making something, like if you're making a project, I'm going to say acting is everything.
Oh, yeah.
75% of directing, 75% of your lines being delivered.
Yeah.
I took some lines as a kid away from some people who are now fairly famous actors because it was like, ooh, that line's not right.
Yeah.
And when someone else delivers it and it hits, I mean, you bring a guy like Jerry or Darren,
Yep.
one of those people in,
Yep.
and with the voice actors we have, everything you do is funnier.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
And, when the voice actors can add to it, like I said, like they can make your line even, like we came to a point in Tough Puppy where Jerry could say, we would know exactly how he was going to read the
And
line.
what he said was funny.
Yeah. It's like Jerry's going to kill this. So
He said the word candy funny.
exactly.
Candy.
Or like, Dudley, I've got something for you. Is it candy?
Yeah.
Is
Is
it
it candy?
No, it's not candy.
No.
It's like Kitty, I've got an idea. Does it involve the old lady? Yes.
And you learn to write for the actors too when they become the characters. Jerry became that character.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about Jerry is that Jerry could say the meanest thing in the world, and it wouldn't sound mean or feel mean because Jerry's got basically a good heart.
Yeah,
He's such a big kid. It's just like a kid acting out. And he's like Will Ferrell that way.
Oh, totally.
And so it was great. He was great in the character, and we learned that. I told the writers, okay, there's two things Jerry does. He yells and he whispers.
Yeah.
So every line he either has to just be there and he'll yell, or you write whispering.
Yeah.
And when he whispers, it's still louder than a normal voice, but him whispering was super funny.
Like, Kitty, you
Kitty!
think they can hear us?
Yeah. Like everyone can hear us.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so the writing process for younger people who are trying to get into that. Now, how do you? Because everyone asks me all the time, and I try to answer as many people as I can. But how do you get from where you are to Hollywood to be a writer? Can you explain that?
Well, yeah.
Simply?
I'll try.
Is there a simple way?
Okay, the answer is this. This business is unique in that there is no path.
Exactly.
Okay, you can't go to graduate school and then you're it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think there are some keys, and I would be happy to come back on at some point if you want to talk about creative process, because it's a whole different discussion, and it's how you put yourself in the right state of mind to never be tired out, to never be burned out, and to always be excited about what you do.
About that right now.
Okay, well, creative process
You're
is
not coming back.
I understand. You know what?
no way you're
I'm going to say smart. I'm going to say smart. Okay, creative process is an interesting
That's vodka in
thing.
your cup, by the way.
So much of creative process, of writing and about being creative, is state of mind, okay? And these, you have to look at what you want to do. You have to come to the place where it's done. You have to be brave and honest and humble about reaching out to people who do
Humble's
it.
a key
Humble's
word.
huge.
Humble's a
Reach
key
out to
word.
people who do it. There's not a reasonable business. People ask you to do ridiculously unreasonable things. You don't let them take your dignity ever. You don't let them abuse you ever.
And be nice to people.
And you've just got to be open and nice, and you have to do this improv thing, which is you yes and everything. You say, yes, I'll do that, and I'll find a way to do it even better. But I think there's a basic structure for the right state of mind. It is confidence, and all you need to do is look at anything you've ever done that you didn't think you could do. Anything. And you make a list of those things. Intensity, but never on you. Young writers put all the intensity back on themselves and they blow their own brains up. I can't do this, I'm frozen. You put it on the process. It's not you, it's a thing you're doing, okay? And that's how I look at let the guy throw the script over my head. Because it wasn't me, okay? Fun. You've got to have fun in your life. Every single day has got to be fun. You've got to have joy. If you lose your joy, you can't do anything. You got to bring fun to things. You got to bring energy to things. Autonomy, okay? You don't think about what you're going to get from something, ever. Older people do that. You don't think about what they're going to think of what you did. Younger people do that. You give to it because you love it and you let it go. And finally, faith. You have to just have some faith. You have to be able to close your eyes and say, this is going to work out well for me because I'm doing everything right. And if this doesn't work, something better will happen because of the way I'm behaving and because of the energy I'm putting into this. And that formula, okay, opens doors where there are no doors.
Look at that.
No, because it's weird freak magic. And I could tell you 20 stories, and Butch certainly, as a man of faith, understands this. I can tell you 20 stories that are unbelievable, okay? 10 seconds. I pitched a show years ago, goofy show, based on a coconut, where a guy said to me, and this is the quote, "You can make this coconut funny." That's what he said. And he gave me 8 hours to make the coconut funny in Starbucks, okay?
Right.
And we went and pitched the show to Betsy McGowan, who ran Warner Brothers. No comedies on that channel.
Right.
I sat in my car and I went, no one's going to buy this show. There's no comedies on this channel. I did that. I went through that process, but I refused to go in until I honestly had the faith in it. I said, I'm not getting out of the car until I believe this is going to work out well. I walked into the room and I pitched something for the show. Came to my mind out of the blue.
Did you park the car before that?
No, I let the car roll in the traffic.
Okay.
But I was able to buy a new car because they paid me to do the show.
I got it.
But I pitched something in there, and she said to me, "Let's do this," and it went all the way to a series. You know, and it was the dumbest idea ever. It was called Coconut Fred. Then they added Fruit Salad Island.
There you go.
So it was Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island. My favorite character being Tommy Tomato because he wasn't accepted by the fruits or the vegetables.
Oh my God, there you go. I like that.
But it was a funny show, and we had a lot of fun with it. But there's no way. And it was like I really think state of mind is everything. Your state of mind. I don't think we really know how this world works. I think we're kind of primitive.
Jace knows how it works.
I hate to say this, but I think we're kind of primitive still, which would indicate what happened. Why when the lights go out for a week, people kill each other for food, or an hour. But the thing is because they're not really doing much better than cave people. But I do think that your attitude, being humble, being good, and taking that strategy is a miracle. That's the one thing you can do, no matter what level you're at, that will help you.
Well, look at that. The smartest person who's ever been on Speech Bubble.
That's great, yeah. That's awesome.
Well,
That's saying something. You had Jerry on.
There's applause.
I bet Jerry did great on his SATs.
Jerry was great. He was mad I didn't like Three Amigos. He loves Three Amigos, and I didn't like it very much.
I didn't like it either.
I didn't care.
I thought it was unfunny.
I thought it was too.
That's right. I thought it was brutally, slowly paced and unfunny.
Exactly, and because we saw it when we were adults. Jerry saw it when he was like 7.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That's what I'm saying.
I was 40 when I saw it.
You were funny.
Yeah. No,
that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I was 43 years ago. Wow. Yeah.
So now, what's in the future for Ray DeLaurentis right now? You and I got to work together on something because Bunsen is done. I left Nickelodeon, as you know.
Yep.
We both left Nickelodeon.
Yep.
And so they're spiraling out of control now without us. Obviously, yeah, that's happening, right?
I don't think it's as funny there.
Am I right? No,
I think they're doing it okay, but I don't think it's as funny.
No, I know. I haven't been there for a while. I got to go back there.
It can't be as funny.
I don't. Well, you never.
They
know.
tell me sort of quietly it's not as funny.
Really?
They sort of admit it.
Really?
We miss you.
There you go.
So yeah, for me, small picture, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Like I'm developing the show for DreamWorks with a partner, the animated show, which is fun.
Right.
Development is what it is. Supposed to develop a show for Manchester City soccer team. There's a third project that I forget.
Okay.
Because things move so slowly.
They do.
I'm doing a show for the aforementioned fantastic Rich Magallanes.
Rich Magallanes.
I mean, Magallanes, that's the way you pronounce it.
Magallanes,
yeah.
exactly.
Our little Mexican mafia friend, Rich Magallanes. He's the fantastic, funny, wonderful guy.
Rich worked on every season of Fairly Oddparents.
Not only that, he's the only development executive I've ever worked with who would stick his neck out for a show.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He really did.
He's a great guy. Working with him and
because he would go to New York as our representative, and tell them how great the show is.
He would fight,
but he would also say, "Hey, the people on the show are great. We're going to lose the crew. We don't want to lose them." And the people in New York who weren't in LA were like, we were kind of faceless people.
Yeah, no, it was two different companies.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It's more integrated now here.
Is it really?
But yeah, but so and I'm also doing. Apparently, I signed a deal 7.5 years ago to do to creative, to produce and. Creatively consult on a new spin on Ice Age for Fox. But it's an international show, so I would just be tossing in ideas and writing some scripts. And that's supposed to eventually bleed into a deal I made 3.5 years ago, because I redeveloped with Will, Night at the Museum, the movie franchise for Sean Levy.
That's right.
Which is I have to say, a great show.
Cool.
Well, I love the show.
Very
I love that, and I love Spy Toys. They're both fun. But honestly, the way this business works, I'm doing, a little bit.
Yep.
Because all that stuff takes so much time.
And even when you have a long career and you know, tons of credits under your belt, you still have to go out there and hustle.
It never stops. You have to reinvent yourself literally every day.
I know. I'm reinventing myself now. I'm going to be a crime fighter.
Oh wow!
You were always kind of a crime fighter.
Well, I'm going to be a better crime fighter.
Oh,
more of kind of like I was a Batman crime fighter, but now I'll be more like a magic crime fighter.
Oh, I like it.
With spells.
Smoke bomb.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah. You can't find me. Bro.
Yeah.
Kenny, smoke bomb.
Yeah.
But Ray's been awesome to work with, and I want to work on some stuff in the future. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up.
My number one emotional goal,
yes,
which is what usually drives me, would be to work with you.
Oh, well,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, or someone like you, but there is no one.
Well, Jace is kind of like me, and he's younger.
Oh,
And
wow.
Jace will be around longer.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
You might get competitive and off him if you feel like you're.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm not the best driver, so we'll see.
You're not the best
Continue.
driver?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing. Continue.
What
Continue.
happened? What'd you do?
Continue.
What'd you do? Did you get in an accident?
No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, it was a
Continue.
joke.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
it's a joke now.
Well,
But you live in Los Angeles. Someone will hit you.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of
sure.
like
Yeah.
your dad. If you got in an accident,
Yeah,
wanna
sure.
help out? Can
Yeah,
I help
oh, I
out?
see.
Some
See,
fender
very
bender?
kind.
Something happened to the Prius?
Yeah, no, the Prius is indestructible.
Okay, nothing
Yeah,
hurt the
power
Prius.
mode, eco mode, and you're set for
Boom.
life.
Also, great crime fighting car because you can't hear it
You
coming.
can't hear it
Yes.
come exactly right.
It's stealth.
If I get
Slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I get to drive up walls, then we'll have something.
Yeah, you can't drive up a hill. If there's a hill where you're tipping,
That's
you're
the
done.
hard. That's its kryptonite.
I know for a fact we could go for 9 more hours. We gotta have you back on. Will you come back on?
I love this.
You live like right down the street.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I did
You
this.
guys
I live
stay
in
here.
I live in the youth hostel now.
Oh, nice! Congratulations. Meet
Yeah.
some nice kids over there.
I met some nice kids and a kind of a creepy adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Did we-
Dr. Jazz Hands is his name.
Dr. Jack.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know if he officially lives there. He hangs around the bathroom, the kind of dark areas toward the back.
All right,
Yeah.
Dr. Jazz says, with that, we're going to say
We
goodbye.
cut it off there.
Exactly. Hey,
Thank you for having me on.
Give Ray a
Yeah,
round
that
of
was
applause. And a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Ray.
Thank you. Thank
So a
you.
bigger round of applause. Ray, there's a huge crowd club.
I like this.
It's insane. It's great.
The Bivuvuzelas.
And that's it. All right, that's it.
All right, well, Ray, thanks for being on Speech Bubble. And if you guys are writers out there, listen to what Ray said. It's very, very amazing stuff. It's super uplifting and inspirational.
Thank you.
inspired me, Ray.
Thank you.
It's
Call
hard to
me
do.
and I'll charge you money to tell it to you again.
There you go. Exactly. All right, that's been Speech Bubble. Roll the theme music.
Speech Bubble.